So the difference between viewability and attention is an interesting one. For me, viewability is, what a media owner is responsible for. Is essentially getting an ad in front of a consumer relative to pixels on screen and time. And that's pretty clear cut in the MRC guidelines. Viewability means this many pixels in this amount of time, and then it's considered an impression. So it's an opportunity to see. Whereas attention's very different because, attention is a consumer-based output, whereas, as I said, viewability is a media owner consideration. So attention to an ad is very different to whether the ad is 100% pixels on screen or not. Sometimes the two terms are used interchangeably, but I think they're quite vastly different. Yeah, so it's not that surprising to me that passive attention plays a bigger role than first expected. I mean, if you think about it, firstly, logically, you do pay attention when things are in peripheral view. And, say, for example, I'm writing something, but you're speaking to me, I'm still technically paying attention to what you're saying. So the way that we measured attention was perhaps different from some other gaze tracking systems. And we measured it with 0, meaning that they're not in the room or that they're not anywhere present whatsoever. 50, meaning that they weren't directly eyes on ad, but they were still around the advertising. And 100 being that they were literally eyes on ad, eyes on screen. And we measured it that way, thinking that 50 or passive would be half the value of full attention. But what we found is that actually passive attention does generate greater impact than we first thought. And again, it's not that surprising to me because if you think about it, most people are fully aware of all the categories and experience with different categories, experience with different brands. There's distinctive assets or sound that's happening. So, the notion that you actually have to fully be staring right at the screen to, take in what's happening from the ad is probably something that I would have thought would have been from early attention literature years ago. But interestingly, this notion of selective attention or peripheral attention or passive or whatever you want to call it actually comes from a lot of the hard science literature. So there are a lot of studies around how that affects other sectors sort of outside of marketing. I think for me, at the end of the day, if results are generalisable, it means they're real. So what I love about this work is that, yet again, we can see cross-platform that visibility or viewability matters. So again, we can see that the more an ad is seen and the more an ad is played, logically, has a greater impact on both stats and attention. And again, that's consistent with all of the results that I've done over the last couple of years, so I'm quite excited for that.